What are most evil and talented and usually freaking strong? Well, you are about to meet today's fighters. Like Sans, the Raging Skeleton, and Infinite, Dr. Eggman's wonderful and powerful creation. It's time to analyze their stats, weapons, and abilities to find out who would win in a battle to the death. Since you already know about Sans, but you haven't heard much about Infinite, so let's get straight on to the reading. Throughout the Sanctuaries, Dr. Eggman was really depressed about how he's losing to Sonic every day and every how. But somehow he had a new plan of creating the world's domination, and most best creation that Dr. Eggman ever built was Infinite. If you didn't believe me, that Infinite really kept up with Sonic, and it is really usually fast enough to keep up with Sonic. But over the past few hours, he can usually create duplicates of every character that you see, like Shadow, Zarvark, Metal Sonic, and Chaos. All of these that you see can trick you, because they're fakes. Infinite usually battled Sonic, and usually both Infinite and Sonic were fast enough to keep up with each other. But usually Infinite can shoot lasers out of his hands. But he usually won a fight against Sonic. Sonic usually ran out of breath, and everybody thought he died. But eventually about that, Sonic returned back to life, and Infinite and Sonic eventually had a rematch. But apparently, Infinite wasn't fast enough to keep up with Sonic after all. When Sonic returned alive, if you haven't heard him, he can usually power up a second ago when he gets defeated. But for not like the Phantom Ruby ever was about Sonic and Infinite battling each other. Speaking of the Phantom Ruby is usually Infinite's main power. It can usually create every single thing that he has. Like, he can create walls to crush you. He can even create, like I said, he can create duplicates. He can even create traps of himself. And can create clones of himself. He can usually annihilate himself to regenerate himself to be more invincible. But if it wasn't for, if it wasn't for the Phantom Ruby, then he wouldn't have some serious power. He can even curl up into a spiky ball and can usually spin around and can attack his enemies. Plus, in the Sanctuary, back when they got far from the game, Infinite and Sonic usually eventually had their third final match. And boy, Sonic didn't usually do this alone back in round 2. He usually didn't do this alone. He had his help with his brother. No, not his brother. His buddy. And he usually had a chance to face off Infinite. But Infinite usually lost against 2 of them. But Sonic usually said this to Infinite.
Wrong, loser. The things that can't be defeated are heart, soul, and the bonds of friendship. 3 things you and your counterfeit cronies lack.
But no matter what the point, Infinite can usually still get the power to destroy everything. But excluding the bonds of friendship. But no matter what, Infinite is still strong no matter what it takes.
You may call me
Alright, catch your votes in, people, because it's time to see who would win in a battle to the death. This battle will begin in Green Hill Zone. Sans was looking out for Papyrus, but it didn't go well. So Infinite was there. He started wondering where Papyrus was. He asked Infinite for directions. Infinite didn't answer. He asked him again. He still didn't answer. So he had no choice but to fight him. Infinite uses his blocky things to attack Sans. Sans uses his bones to attack it back. They were both doing it back and forward. Until Sans uses 2 gastric blasters against him. Infinite teleported around everywhere. Sans was getting mad at all that stuff. Infinite turned into a spiky ball. Or a spiky knife. And usually attack, but Sans dodges and teleports. And usually attack Papyrus. Sans started getting mad. So he uses his rage mode against him. And so then, Sans usually started attacking him. Infinite was getting pain and suffering. Infinite didn't even know what to do. So Sans had him. His heart turned blue. His Phantom Ruby turned blue, And his attack gone well. He was controlling Infinite and attacking him everywhere. And so then, 17 gastric blasters blast Infinite. Infinite was gone. Sans thought he had the victory. But what's this? Infinite survived that blast. He usually attacked Sans everywhere. He started running out of breath, and he turned into a spiky ball. And there was Sans. He had defeated. The winner is Infinite. Gee, poor Sans. It almost looks like he had a bad time. Well, because of Sans' gaster blasters and bones and stuff, Infinite was usually far more stronger. He was right that time. He could not be defeated. But he was wrong that time as well. He didn't even know what was wrong going with his powers. He never usually had something against him back in the days. So he never usually was cocky against him. So with all that being said, Emily was here to join us, right?
Yeah.
So, why do you think Infinite had the chance to defeat Sans?
Well, I'm pretty good answer because he's more better.
Yeah, but what makes him more stronger than Sans?
I don't know, but they're both cool and I both like them.
Yeah, but here's the truth. Infinite and Sans, you were usually strong enough with their own powers. But Sonic and Infinite eventually had a rematch. So it usually began how Infinite usually lost against that fight, with terms and termination. The winner is Infinite.
Get ready for the next battle.
What's with the monkey chase? Why did you stop me? Those monkeys are taking over the planet. That's the first monkey I've seen all day. What are they taking over? You must be working for Spectre too. That will hold you as well as it does those monkeys. There's no way you can put me in a net. And what makes you think you can stop me?